Welcome back to another episode of Dark Side of the Moon, motherfuckers. I'm your host, Vince Green.
I'm your host, Noel John Toohey.
And this week we're talking about the Mandalorian and his bounty hunting motherfucking friend, Boba Fett. Noel, what are you thinking about this awesome fucking show over on Disney Plus?
You know what? I just thought it actually had some of that magic that came with the original Star Wars. I love the technology seemed kind of like how it was imagined in the 70s. I was thinking, how would a show work without Jedi? Like, they're the coolest thing. Nothing comes even close. And a Mandalorian comes pretty damn close.
Oh man, like, because you need something that's steeped in its own lore, like, and that's like,
yes, exactly. Something that doesn't rely on something that just is its own thing and can work completely on its own. And to have something that isn't, I know there's Grogu and I know all of that, but it's about the Mandalorian, and he's just so badass. He's just so badass all by himself.
Yeah, I think the Mandalorian may be the best thing Star Wars has ever done.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd have to be up there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for me, you'd have, the original trilogy, of course, was fantastic. And, Return of the Jedi, probably. But then Rogue One, I thought was spectacular because I thought it just was this insular story. Yeah.
And then there's movie.
Yeah, an almost perfect movie. And there was a bit of hit and miss there, and there's some, absolute miss, and of course, but this wasn't. This went back to its roots a bit or something. It just tried its best to feel right.
Yeah, it remembered where it came from. If you know what I mean.
Didn't it?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Where Disney were like, let's change this and let's alter this. Whereas Mandalorian's the exact opposite. Like, okay, let's see how we can exist in the world that's set up, like, for the other 6 movies. You know what I mean? Like, from the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, they're like, okay, that world already exists. Let's see how we can set up in that world. Instead of, like, the sequel trilogy felt like, let's see how we can alter the world.
Yes.
You know, that kind of way, where it's just like, let's see how we can exist in the pre-existing world instead of let's try and change things, because there's no need to change it, because it's like, it's so lore heavy. There's so like it's so expansive. Like, some of the shit in this, like, was reminiscent of, like, Lord of the Rings, in terms of, like, not the action but the lore, the way they talk about the 90,000 Tears and the Purge and the Siege of Mandalore and all this fucking shit, man. Like, it's like, when they're talking about the E-Web canon, he's like, you saw thousands of your brothers disintegrated and the Siege of Mandalore.
But when they're talking about, like, we talk about World War II so much, we have all these World War II films, and you see something that's actually just about surviving in a partition Germany just afterwards, just like something a little bit smaller in scale, but like the empire has fallen, but of course, the nature abhors a vacuum.
Yeah.
So something moves in to fill it, and it was just like how it was affecting junkards and gamblers and bounty hunters and all of this. And it was great. It was just like you were dropped in that universe from a kind of an outside perspective, and it kind of works. It just did. It didn't have to be like, and this is how Palpatine, and this is Darth Vader, and this is whatever else, and you're kind of going, no, like, I mean, at the end of the war, what's left are survivors, people. And then they have to try and, like, find a new way to survive because so much has been lost. And I thought, like, that just felt right in the Mandalorian. It just did. Like,
that's why I think I mentioned in the previous podcast that, like, Solo and Rogue One feel so close to Mandalorian, because if you look at Solo and Rogue One, they're both right after the fall of the Republic and the start of the Empire, whereas Mandalorian and Boba Fett, they're right after the fall of the Empire. So it's kind of like, as you said, like, nature abhors a vacuum, or as they say in the show, power hates a vacuum. That, like, where you have this thing where the world is reshaping itself, or the galaxy is reshaping itself, and it's just like that flux. And that's what, like, I thought, like, when Solo and Rogue One, when you look back at those movies, they did really well. That it showed you the transition from the Republic to the Empire, whereas this is kind of showing us the limbo of the transition from the Empire to the New Republic, that kind of thing. Like, so it's kind of cool how both, in my opinion, have a kind of these similar tones. And that's why, like, I think Rogue One and even Solo, when you go back and look at it, is not like, I think Solo was unfairly treated, because I think it's a really solid fucking movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I watched it after all of the everything was said negative about it, and I ended up kind of just enjoying it for what it was.
Yeah, same as because I missed it in the cinema, and loads of people were like fucking hopping over it. And then by the time I watched it, maybe we said the magic of lowered expectations. But
absolutely.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed Solo. I thought your man Alden Ehrenreich did a really decent job. Like, you can't compare someone to Harrison Ford, and he didn't even try to be Harrison Ford. He just tried to be his own version of Han Solo. And I think, like that, like, those movies were Rogue One was given the acclaim it deserved. But I think Solo was a bit unfairly treated. But like going back to Mandalorian, I just love that, as you said, it's just this kind of like it's right after the Empire's fallen, and you have all these people that were the higher ups in the Empire that weren't on the Death Star 1 or 2 that didn't die, like Moff Gideon, that are holding on. It's kind of like the Germans that went to South America kind of thing. These guys went to the outer rims of the galaxy, and they're trying to hold on to this little bit of power that existed out there.
Yeah,
and trying to raise the Fourth Reich. They're trying to raise, I suppose, what became the First Order. When we talk about the Disney trilogy.
Exactly, yeah. You remember when the invasion of Iraq happened and Saddam Hussein was taken down, and so I can't remember who it was, but he said Saddam Hussein was a monster, but the one thing he did is he kept the wolves from the door.
Yeah.
And then the rise of the Taliban and all this kind of stuff. It actually does, it alters reality, and it kind of, obviously it's on Disney Plus, and but it does actually use what happens in reality, as in like, yeah, there is no main power, but now there's 50 little ones. And it's, yeah,
exactly. It's like if an alpha dies of a wolf pack, that you might not have to deal with that one alpha anymore, but you're going to have to deal with the 12 betas that are all vying for power now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, so,
and that was it. The wolves from the door, and I know. I just really, really enjoy it. I also it's somebody who kind of, it was from the perspective of the Mandalorian. He didn't really care, as in like who's in charge. It's always going to be somebody. He was very much so trying to exist outside of all that.
Yeah.
And he did a good job of it until he ran into Baby Yoda.
Yeah, which, how could you kill him?
Yeah. How good was IG-11? Oh, the second I saw him, I knew I loved the robot. And that's what I was talking about. They had that good Star Wars clunky tech.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, really like sophisticated.
Steampunk almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
like, man, that's what I love about one thing I love about Star Wars movies, Star Wars shows. They always make you feel for the droid.
You do. The Terminator 2 them.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Oh man, the IG is like, do you remember when he comes in to save the day, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm nursing, I'm protecting, and he just like fucking flies in and starts killing everyone. Oh man, yeah. I love
like the comic relief of him. The answer to every situation is to blow himself up.
Yeah,
he just keeps looking for reasons to blow himself up. We're surrounded, initiating termination.
He's like, no, don't do that.
And it's hilarious. And then, of course, he does end up doing it, and it absolutely tears you from the guts out.
Yeah. Oh man, because
storytelling, man. It was just like a droid. Remember, he shoots it in the head. It's funny. But then later, when he takes off his mask for the first time, because I'm not a living thing.
Yeah.
Hence, the oath isn't been broken. And you're like, oh man, I'm getting feels even just talking about it now. Yeah. It was a droid in a Disney show.
Yeah. Oh man, one thing I have to say, Pedro Pascal must be one of the best actors on planet Earth right now. The amount of acting that guy can do with a fucking helmet on is not even it. Like, that's not even right. Like, he can emote whilst wearing a helmet better than some actors could do without a helmet. It's insane. Like,
when you have when he got his head crushed by the mountain in Game of Thrones, it was the first time I ever laid eyes on Pedro Pascal, and he was excellent in the very short run that he had. And I remember feeling sorry for him, the actor, because I was like, this is probably going to be the biggest role he ever has. Like he finally gets his big break, and they crush his skull, and now he's just going to be like that guy who got killed in Thingy. Now, I've been wrong.
He got Narcos then straight.
Then Narcos fell backwards into Narcos.
Yeah, and then the best shows on TV.
On the best shows on TV, and now he's like he's an A+ lister.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like
he's in everything.
He's working like the levels of. But I'm not sick of him. I have a thing where I get sick of people no matter how good they are.
Yeah.
Like Anna Taylor-Joy, she's an excellent actress, but now I just feel like I could do with a film that she's not in for like a month or something. But Pedro Pascal was one of these very few people I just like him because he does such different stuff.
Yeah,
he could Game of Thrones, and he could be the bad guy in Wonder Woman. He's the only good thing about that second Wonder Woman film.
Fucking wasted him in that movie.
Yeah, they wasted him, but he made use of. He chewed up the scenery when he was there. Yeah, And now we see him as the Mandalorian and that Nicolas Cage movie that just came out, and
he's just way of massive talent.
Thank you, and he's just fantastic. His range.
Have you seen that movie yet?
No, I haven't actually seen it yet.
It's amazing.
But I just love Pedro Pascal. I just think his charm is just undeniable. His charisma is undeniable, and his acting ability is undeniable.
Yeah.
Fucker has everything going right now. The world
and he's funny as well. Like when you watch him bear away at massive talent, like he's funny. As I said, he's got everything. Like at the moment, like I just watched him in Mandalorian and Boba Fett, which we talk about in a little while. And I just watched him. I'm watching him currently in Narcos as well because I'm rewatching Narcos at the moment. And I just recently seen him in On Bearable Weight, Massive Talent, and he's completely different. All three does, and I'm like he's impressed me in every single one of them in completely different ways. Like as I said, he's one of the best actors on planet Earth right now.
Oh yeah, really yeah,
100%. Like the Mandalorian man, the amount of acting, as I said, like the amount of acting he does with that fucking helmet on.
Yeah, and like like an absolutely steel. Not his eyes, not his.
It's not like Dread where you can see the bottom half of his face. Where
even that, because like Carl Urban or Sylvester, well, fuck Sylvester Stallone, he took off the mask. It's sacrilege.
Yeah, helmet.
The helmet. Sorry, but like even Carl Urban, like you said, even just the jawline, you can Batman, whatever, you can do something with it. You can look angry, you can look smug. But nothing. But he just has. But even this is what somebody was saying. When all that Depp and Heard shit was going down, I heard Chris D'Elia make one really, really good point. He said, "You know what he has that she doesn't have? Fucking stillness." He goes, "You know how much acting is actually just stillness." And Pedro Pascal can go like absolutely the full Nicolas Cage, and he could just be sitting in a boardroom. Yeah, waiting for his line, and it's all the same to him, and he actually has it, and the Mandalorian, he has stillness.
Yeah,
and he just, I don't know, he's fantastic.
He controls every single scene.
Everything.
Like it's crazy, man. Like one thing though, like the Mandalorian did that a lot of Star Wars things didn't do is that it really built up on the lore that was already there. Like it included fan favorite characters, like you know what I mean, like Ahsoka Tano, like fucking they brought back what's his fucking name? Oh, Luke Skywalker.
But Luke Skywalker. Yeah, he was in one of the other ones. Wasn't he?
That guy. But they brought back Luke Skywalker, they brought back Ahsoka Tano, and then like they brought back other characters from the Clone Wars shows and shit like that. That like because Dave Filoni created the fucking Clone Wars show. That I thought
I didn't realize until I did a little bit of homework.
Yeah.
That actually, that of course I knew Rosario Dawson's name escapes me. I'm sorry. Sorry, Star Wars nerds, but I
just
knew
said it. Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka Tano, sorry, that's what you meant. And but I didn't realize then that it was actually just loads. Include Boba Fett, where our little gunslinger friend shows up again. Another, from Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah, so is that what he's from? Is he?
Yes,
like I was like, as soon as his hat went up, and I'm like, 100% I'm supposed to know who he is.
Oh, see, that's why I ended up doing the homework, because there was just like, that's right.
What's his name?
It's me. Oh, I can't just forget. Like, I mean, it's Star Wars here. I can tell you, it wasn't Kevin or Michael. Like, you know.
I'm behind on the animated shows for shame. Like,
oh yeah, I am actually as well. And you know what? I watched a few clips of them, and they're like dark as hell.
Man, I've watched a lot of Clone Wars. Clone Wars is awesome. I've seen the first 3 seasons of it.
Wow, like I mean, like that's the thing with Star Wars, doesn't it? It rarely hits the middle. It swings wide.
Yeah, I think it's when you have people like I think we spoke about this before. It's been a few weeks since we were on here, but like that. When you have people that respect the lore, that it's so easy to make a Star Wars movie. It's so easy to make a good Star Wars movie. When you were like, look at Rogue One. It was like
so much is already done for. Like if you went to make one today, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here going, "This should let me make Star Wars." No, I'm not a director.
John Favreau and Dave Filoni shouldn't be able to make.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like somebody who works obviously has an awful lot of talent and know-how. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, so much of the work has been done for you.
Yeah,
it's all there.
Yeah,
even the stuff that didn't land, maybe you can make it land.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean. Even
comic books and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like you're talking about like 11 movies, like 3 TV shows now. You're talking.
I would say I wanted to make one like back before they had lightsabers and stuff like that. The Force and stuff was young, you know. And I would start with in a long time ago, but like super long time ago, in a galaxy far away. Seriously, guys, a long time ago. Probably like the dinosaur times.
Yeah,
that's what I'd have coming at the top.
I'd love to see that, the original Jedi or something.
Oh yeah, like I was like some sort of sword with some sort of a heating mechanism in it.
Yeah,
that makes it a better cutting tool, you know.
Or the kyber crystals is how they power lightsabers.
You know what? I just read all of the Darth Vader comics. There was 13 of them, and I didn't realize that it's called kyber crystals, and also they're alive.
They're alive.
And the reason that they actually torture the kyber crystal to make a red Sith.
Oh,
They
really?
actually
Yeah.
tortured the kyber crystal.
So,
It's alive with the force,
yeah,
something. But the red lightsabers that Sith use are actually tortured kyber crystals.
that's fucked up.
Is that fucked up? That's what I mean, man. The lore is just there. Everything.
Yeah.
You're talking 45 years as we sit here. We're talking 45 years. As we sit here, we're probably talking 47 or 48 years since like a little like light bulb over George Lucas's head. We are talking lore. We are talking comic books. We are talking animated films, animated series, and we're talking I don't know what we're up to now. Dozens of novels, and it's all there for you. It's all there for you. Hence, Boba Fett showing back up was like cool, but like him escaping the Sarlacc pit has been talked about for years.
Man, like the way one thing I loved about the way what Mandalorian did, like because I didn't know much about Book of Boba Fett going in, that the way it dovetailed together the two shows, it's almost like the Book of Boba Fett was Mandalorian season 2.5. Like the way oh man, it was crazy. I didn't
because the Mandalorian takes up. And I'm thinking, oh, cool, guest appearance, 2 episodes.
Yeah, man, it's fucking amazing. I was like, yes, back to our Mandalorian episodes, and like that, they covered so much backstory for the Mando in those 2 episodes that doesn't have to be used in the 3rd season of Mandalorian.
Yeah, like I mean, going to see Grogu getting a bit of training, and I mean, this was this is very much so Mandalorian story.
Yeah,
like, this is about Grogu. This is about the Mandalorian. This is
oh, I love it. It's like they've said to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, is like you can have that little corner of the universe, the outer rims, and you can just have some fun with it. Do you know what I mean? Like because like they're clever though, because they have their own expanded universe growing there now. I don't know what I think Obi-Wan is based before the original trilogy, obviously. So obviously that can't be linked to it. But like I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, like Luke Skywalker shows up in the Mandalorian, and it's the fall of the Empire. He's grown. He's the most powerful Jedi in the universe.
Yeah.
And he's a kid that doesn't know shit about shit in Obi-Wan. So I don't think there's any connection there. But I think the smartest man in the universe will be somebody who can explain to me the entire chronology of Star Wars. Like the books, the comics, and everything. There's
so many dudes out there that know so much about Star Wars. It's crazy, man. I used to watch a show called I can't remember what it's called, the Schmodown, and the movie Schmodown, where it was the guys from Collider, this guy that used to work with Collider, invented it with some other dude, and he left Collider after to do this full time, but it was just a trivia thing, and they used to have like different belts and stuff, you know, like you'd be the movie champion, or you'd be the newcomer champion, or whatever. You'd be the team's champion, and one belt was the Star Wars belt. And they were asking these guys questions like, what is the serial number on this fucking ship in like A New Hope or whatever? And they were like, not even thinking. They're like, oh, that ship is a 24789.
Oh my God. You know what? Like, I'm trying not to cheat because I always think like, watch the show and talk about what you see. And it was a Razor's Crest. Was it what the name was?
Razor Crest, yeah.
Oh, that
awesome name for a ship.
Awesome name for a ship. But like that's it. There's so much to keep track of. So much to keep track of.
Like, man, right? Just as you said, there's so much to keep track of, so much lore, all this fucking white shit. But what do you think? Bag and Bones, it's pretty much a Western set in space. What do you think?
Boba Fett was a Western, 100%. You know what's funny is that my partner's dad, who's he's 73 now in a week, so he just loves the old Westerns. Yeah. So when he comes down and he's guests, I literally there's a classic cinema or something. I think it's a YouTube site that has loads of I'm talking like 40s.
Nice.
Western. Oh yeah, and spaghetti westerns, 50s, 60s, like John Wayne early stuff. And so I've been watching an awful lot of them. And then I watched Boba Fett just today, and I was like, my God, this is like there's like a quick draw, you know, like there's literally like standing there, you know, go for your weapon kind of stuff. And it's like, you know, there's crime lords trying to take over a town. I mean, we're talking like Palpatine having like fleets of destroyers at the end of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like we're talking
so much better.
Yeah, and this was so much better, but it was a microcosm. The town was smaller than one destroyer, and then you had Palpatine literally taking out like fleets, like ending. You know what I mean? It was so huge, but that bigger is not always better, and that's a mistake that's so often made. This was so grounded, and I just thought it was so interesting. I was like, yeah, you know what? Give me a Star Wars Western. I'm here for it.
Yeah, 100% here. Oh man, like what really nice me about the sequence is like they had 3 movies. They had all this time to come up with a villain, and they fucking ended on Palpatine. Whereas John Favreau was like, and Dave Filoni, they just created their own villain. Like, I don't know if Moff Gideon is he in the shows. I don't know. Like, but like the fucking hell, like they have a villain that's not dependent on the old shit, man. They don't like they adhere to the old lore and all the legacy characters and all that shit. They adhere to it, but they don't rely on it. You know what I mean? Or they
I
don't
thought I
bastardize.
was disgusted with Snoke. It was a Snoke.
Yeah, he was so cool.
He was so cool. He had that, like, and what was the point? He was genetically cloned, and he had like, what was the point of all the facial disfigurements, the tall, slender? But I thought he could have been. Why not? Why not have had him be more powerful than Palpatine? Why not?
Yeah.
It just turns out that he was literally nothing, a puppet. There could have been 10 of them. He was completely and totally replaceable. There was nothing about him whatsoever.
Like, even why does he have to be more powerful than Palpatine? He just has to be more powerful than the people he's fighting.
Actually, it's like you don't have to be faster than the bear. You have to be faster than the guy, than at least one other person who's.
That's why I always go hunting with you, Noel.
I know,
It's like, it's all right, no, you don't need those boots.
I just start smothering myself with honey because it might be quicker. You know, I smother my throat so that I'll just get it over with.
And man, I just hold the baby bear at ransom and just see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Not well.
Not well. did not take this trip. But yeah, but I always think, like, don't get me wrong, you have something like Alien and then Aliens. They went bigger and it worked.
Yeah.
It's not that it can't work. But it's when you rely on it as opposed to it being a natural story. Boba Fett felt like natural storytelling. I actually got a lot of bad reviews and stuff, so I went in like Boba Fett, to the best of my knowledge, you got some.
Really?
Am I wrong? You're the guy who's got.
No, I don't know. I didn't know anything about.
Yeah. People are like, thought it was a bit lackluster.
I don't read reviews.
Either do I, but stuff cracks. That's what I mean. I never read them.
And if I ever did, it'd be after I saw it.
Yeah. When I went back and watched this, and actually, to be fair, that's a lesson you taught me from Dr. Sleep.
Yeah,
I keep it in mind now more than I did. Just watch it.
Just have your own opinion.
Like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes somebody's turned around to me and said, "Oh my God, I promise you, it's 2 hours of your life you'll never get back."
Yeah,
I promise you. And there's people. If somebody like you said that to me, I kind of go, "All right, okay." He knows me well enough.
Yeah, I would never say that.
Yeah, you'd never say that. Well, don't tell me there's not something that's so garbage you try and save me.
No, I tell you to watch it because it's so garbage. You know what I mean?
But actually, no. See, that's another thing as well. That's a whole other thing as well.
Yeah, man,
the right type of garbage. But Boba Fett, I was thinking, I love it. He's like he's the capitulate. He's an anti-hero. Yeah, he does the whole he protection racket and stuff, but he actually protects. Yeah, and he didn't want to move what's it called? It's actually a drug in the real world. Spice. Yeah,
very Dune.
Very Dune. Yeah, very Dune. And also like English prisons.
Yeah,
it's that artificial weed. Yeah, it just gets you really, really horribly messed up.
Yeah, I've seen it's because they kept changing the formula to stay legal. Because I think what happened was I don't know if it's still legal. For a long time it was legal, where every time something was outlawed, they changed the formula, keep the same name, and they
absolutely, yeah.
And it's probably gotten so far away from the original formula that it's just fucking probably like pipe cleaner and fucking dead rat babies or something.
Oh yeah, and because of some stupid loophole, it's actually legal.
Yeah,
for just a second, and then you have this kind of on a galactic level, whatever the hell Spice is, and he wants nothing to do with. Man, what did you think of the Jabba the Hutt twins showing up?
Yeah, man, that was amazing, man. I love that. I was like, sorry, I didn't see your. What did it call it? Was it not cart? What was that fucking thing called? The thing they carry people on. What did it called?
I can't think of it, and you're struggling there.
Fuck. Remember back in the day, the Romans used to get carried around on them. Those fucking things.
Yeah, of course. I don't know what the word for that is. It's not cart.
No, I can't remember what it's called. It's actually a word we use today, but they used it back then, and it meant that. It means different now or something. Litter, yeah. But I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't see your litter. Man. One thing I loved about it though was the way they incorporated the two stories together flawlessly without one ever feeling like it was hogging the other one's space. Like with Mandalorian, the way that built through, One
They're
thing I love,
intertwined, like they're so intertwined now.
yeah, one thing I loved about season one of Mandalorian in particular was that it had a real computer game feel to it. Like the first thing he does is he does his first mission, he gets payment, he upgrades his armor. Like,
I was
I mean?
about to say that he literally upgrades his armor,
Yeah,
even in the with the Boba Fett kind of crossover. He he has the black saber, so he doesn't need his spear
yeah.
thing, and he wants.
No, your one takes it because she says it can actually pierce Beskar silver or Beskar armor. So it's actually a threat to all Mandalorians to have that in existence because Beskar steel should only be used as a defensive tool, as protection, not as an offensive weapon. That's what Yuan said, the forger woman. I can't remember her name.
That's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah, the
Yeah.
armorer. I think she was actually just called the armorer.
The armorer is she's fucking awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I love that kind of almost medieval kind of helmet that she had. You know,
Yeah, with the spikes and shit.
Yeah. Like if the Mandalorians had an executioner.
Yeah,
you imagine that they'd look a bit like that or something.
I just loved in season one though. It's like they had this very episodic feel, like it's almost like mission by mission. But but at the same time, they were sneakily building the overarching kind of backstory that would open up into to season two with Moff Gideon arriving and shit like that. Like, so that's one thing I loved about it, is that it felt like everything was very standalone. And then at the end of the season, he kind of assembled his team together. And that's kind of what he did in season two. That's kind of like the formula of Mandalorian. Even Boba Fett kind of did it too. Like, you know, as we're like throughout this season, he meets his team. And then at the end, they assemble the team. Isn't that kind of what they do? No.
You know when fucking Luke Skywalker's given Grogu the kind of like, this is Yoda's lightsaber. This is, I can't remember, he had some Beskar or something.
Yeah, the chainmail.
The chainmail. And, you know, he's explained to him, you can't have one, you know, it has to be one or the other. And I was just thinking, is it that if we just, the universe couldn't take how awesome?
Yeah.
Like, is it like low key that it's just too much awesomeness?
Yeah.
To have a Mandalorian Jedi.
Yeah,
like
imagine there was one already. They already said that the person that forged the dark saber was a Mandalorian Jedi.
Yeah, but was that then not allowed or something?
Yeah, it was like 1,000 years ago or something.
Yeah, and then it was like, you know, did it nearly destroy the universe with like it's just sheer awesomeness because it is just.
I think it was less than him not being allowed being a Mandalorian Jedi. It was more that he was not allowed to have any attachments to his former life. And him wearing the Beskar steel, it shows an attachment to his former life as a youngling Mandalorian or foundling. Sorry,
I know he's like 50 or something, but all keeping it all real, that means he's about 3 or 4.
Yeah, because Yoda was like 900 when he died.
Yeah, Yoda was 900, so that means he's gone through like an 18th of his lifetime. So, you know, he's literally a baby, and he's able to. Every time he uses the Force, he needs to go 9-9.
Yeah, I love that. Because he still hasn't got control over his powers yet.
Even when he takes the Rancor down.
Yeah.
He just goes for a little nap beside it. That's brilliant.
Man, I fucking love that camera shot with the Rancor and Grogu, and he's walking up to it. And then they show the reverse shot where it's behind him and how tiny he is compared to it. Like, man, it's so fucking cool. Like one thing, like,
how cool, you know, revisiting all the stuff when he walks in and he kills the guy with the weird head thing that's taken over for Boba Fett, and he takes over, and then he drops a guy in the Rancor pit, and you're like, oh, feels, man. It's so perfect to see all of that stuff from your childhood
in Boba Fett.
In Boba Fett, like,
yeah, when he kills Fortuna, that's his name. I can't remember his first name. But like this, to put Chrysanthemum, the Wookiee, and as soon as I saw that Wookiee, I was like, 100% he's going to join Boba Fett.
Oh, like
immediately, as soon as I seen him, I'm like, they're going to become friends. Never seen an evil Wookiee in one of these fucking things.
Oh yeah, an evil Wookiee. I don't. Although, like, I'd be down.
Yeah. Oh man, because the harm they could do, like, they could literally rip your arms and legs off without even fucking blinking. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
But, man, like,
but I love it. They made one attempt on his life and it didn't work, so they're like, okay.
No, it's because the Syndicate was moving in.
The Pikes, was that what they were called?
Yeah, the Pikes. I think that's their species.
Oh, it's their species.
I think so. Yeah, and they're called the Syndicate. Yeah, because at first I thought they were just humans were a mass, and then it took me a little while to put 2 and 2 together that there were those blue dudes. And I was like, oh, all right. I was like, that's what they look like. That's the mascot. I'm a fucking idiot. But like one thing that Mandalorian did, though, man, straight away was like so much stuff about it became part of the pop culture. No, like in no other way like that the Disney sequels did. Like this is the way. What did I have? What did hit that fucking other dude say in season one? I have said it or some shit. What did he say? So it is said. No, what the fuck did that dude say? The guy who got shot running back with Grogu at the end of season one, the inventor dude.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know.
What is fucking say? Oh man, but like it's like this is the way, man. Grogu, Baby Yoda, like when Baby Yoda came out, fucking whole world fucking lost his mind. And then like Disney were like, shit, we didn't make enough toys because we had to keep it secret.
Yeah, that's it. But that's it. But don't you like when they actually seem to like they're going to capitalize, of course, but they actually try to make a story before because like, when you see something like Jar Jar Binks, Justice for Jar Jar, they were trying to there was so much of that were just trying to sell toys. You know what I mean? And it actually felt like they shoehorned something in. And in this, it didn't feel quite as shoehorned, which is also always a good thing. Tell your story. If your story's good enough, the rest will come there. X-Men, and fucking Marvel and everything else.
Yeah, and it's like if there's one brand that is always a corporate, is always accompanied by a shit ton of merch is Star Wars. Like, you know what I mean? It's like one thing that you always associate with fucking toys and merchandise is Star Wars. Like probably the merch has made more money than the movies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it was just like crazy to think that they're able to keep it so secret. I think they like made Mandalorian and like this gigantic set that was like hidden out of the way from everything. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't. I remember when they were making Star Trek. That's right. I said Star Trek, but they were moving them from set to set. And when Simon Pegg went on like they were moving from set to set in a lorry so that nobody would see them. And when Simon Pegg who was going to play Scott, he was asked, what it's like. He was like, I actually can't tell you anything. And he goes, could you give us a bit of your Scottish accent? And he goes, I can't, because I'd probably get my face sewed off. That's what he said. He'd probably sew my face off. He couldn't even just throw on an accent for a second. Just nothing. And the fact that they could do it in this day and age, man, it's impressive. It's impressive.
Oh man, I couldn't believe it. Like when Mandalorian dropped, I knew nothing about that show. Like I knew nothing. For ages, I thought it was going to be about Boba Fett. Like for ages. And then I was like, wait, there's a different thing. And then I didn't know as much about Mandalorians as other people obviously did, like and shit. But man, it was such a great way to fucking expand the universe without really affecting anything else that follows it. You know what I mean? And I'm sure I think Ahsoka's getting her own show as well. So I really hope Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are doing that as well, and we get to see Boba Fett show up and all this, even though she seems to be kind of gone on her own way, because they have to try to explain her not being in the sequel trilogy and stuff like that. Like I think the way the Mandalorian's going to end up is like him trying to take back Mandalore. Like I think that's the way it's going to be. They're going to try actually take back Mandalore. I think he's like going to go against Bo-Katan and all this shit. Like what?
But they're making characters. Sorry to speak over. They're making characters interesting enough that they're just somebody kind of going. We could just run with that. We could just run with her. We can just run with Rosario. We could just run with her. She's interesting enough. She's a Jedi that she's not a Skywalker or anything like that, but she's a Jedi who fucking survived. All of it. Order 66, the work. She's still here.
Huge fan base as well. Like
huge fan base. Rosario Dawson's a great actress. She could carry. She's got enough star power as well. She could carry a show. She could. And then you're just like, God, man, this is. But it's right in itself because they're actually making characters, as opposed to like, hi, my name is such and such a guy, and I'm very interesting, and you should make toys out of me. It is a little bit more nuanced than that. Jar Jar Binks.
Lisa thinks I'd make nice merchandise.
Like he was supposed to have his own plushie dolls and all that kind of shit. But everyone fucking hated. The kids hated him.
Yeah, man. Like the side characters in this, right? The way they bring them back if they need to, fucking Bill Burr's character. The ex-stormtrooper, man, like he's fucking unbelievable in it. What's his name? Something Mayfield or something. And man, like the fucking episode where they bring his character into it, like you think you're never going to see him again, and then like all of a sudden, like they give him one of the best character arcs, like a pure redemption arc out of nowhere. And that's what like the Mandalorian did. Like is like it give you these little kind of like they touch on a character and you think they're done with it, and they'd always find a way of reincorporating them and like either making part of the group or making them a bigger enemy or some shit like that. And I just thought that was really cool.
Or giving them a robot stomach.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
Yeah,
like Fennec Shand.
yeah.
I
Well
don't know
done
where
on
they
that.
come up with these fucking names, man.
That's what, man. You know what, as well. You hear it and you go, yes.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what part of my brain decides what works in Star Wars and doesn't work in
Yeah.
Star Wars. But IG-11, yes.
Yeah. Oh man, it's
And then you have like Fennec Shand, and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
And then somebody says something else, and I go, no. And I have no idea what part of me is actually deciding yes and no, because it is some of these names kind of work, and I don't know why. But Fennec Shand is a great Star Wars name.
Man, fucking the episode with the Krayt Dragon.
Oh.
Oh man, with the Tusken. Man, one thing I love about these shows, they really fucking delve into the Tusken Raiders.
But but now they can. You know what it is? It's the fact that you're not as time strapped.
Yeah.
You're making a season in a spin-off show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A show that like 3 years ago it wasn't even exactly like, yeah, we're going to bring back Boba Fett and this Mandalorian thing we're going to make. Cool. Yeah. But then we're having a spin-off, and then like, yeah, but why not like have them trained by Tusken Raiders? Like, why not? Like, why not delve into it? Because if they put an hour into a Star Wars film of even 40 minutes of somebody being trained by Tusken Raiders, we'd be going, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it was incredible.
Palpatine's still out there. What are we doing? What are the Tusken Raiders going to do to take down the Empire? This is what I mean. But now that we're talking a smaller outcome, much smaller, it's not the galaxy.
Yeah.
But they get to have a lot of fun with it. And it's great.
Fucking Boba Fett's backstory with the Tusken Raiders from the first 4 episodes of Book of Boba Fett is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like the way he keeps streaming and shit, man. I thought that was so fucking brilliant.
And it saves him.
Yeah,
you know the way everything comes to fruition.
It's
your man, that whatever.
Again.
Yeah, that guy who I can't think of the name of the actual blue alien.
Oh, the guy. Oh, I don't know the guy that shot Timothy Olyphant.
Yes,
I don't know his name. I asked you his name earlier.
I actually might just look it up. But he uses a Tusken Raiders kind of technique to like sweep the feet. Yeah, from underneath him, because there's always that thing where
he kills him with the thing.
He kills him. Yeah,
that episode.
Or does he? Because I suspect that they didn't go to all the effort
of introducing him and then taking him out.
Yeah, of introducing him just so he could be.
I was kind of hoping he'd get away, that dude, because I really want to see more of him. He's fucking freaky. I definitely want to see more of him. But like, man, I just thought like the whole tribal aspect and shit like that, and the fucking spirit journey he goes on, where he's like tripping balls and he finds that tree and he gets his branch and he brings it back.
Because of that lizard thing that they put
in. Oh my god, yeah. Do you remember that he like blows something at his face and the fucking lizard jumps right out and takes up his fucking nose?
I was just like, no. No, thank you.
Oh man, it's so fucking good. There's so much to it though, man. Boba Fett, that show surprised me how good it was. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni were going to do it. Like, it literally, as I said, it felt like Mandalorian 2.5, and it didn't feel like it was doing either character the service. It just felt like the most natural expansion of the Mandalorian show. Like, you know what I mean? And like,
Jon Favreau should just be allowed to call Disney and just say, "Oh, hi John, how are you? $200 million." And they're like, okay, how long? You've got 6 episodes. I need 13 months. Okay. And that's it. Like, shut your mouth. Jon Favreau's on the phone.
Yeah.
He'll make you bank. He will. He'll make you bank. And that's that's the be all and end all. And he makes quality.
I'd love to see those guys go back and do Knights of the Old Republic or something.
Oh
man. Like, seriously. Like, I honestly think they should be given keys to the kingdom. Like, I think get rid of like Kathleen Kennedy, to have Dave Filoni run Lucasfilm, and Jon Favreau there helping him out. Man, I think that's the way to do it, man. Like, the Mandalorian and Boba Fett, some of the best fucking TV shows I've seen in ages. Man, there's not one weak episode. There's no one wasted character. There's not one wasted fucking minute. Like, it's like the shows.
Again, it's smaller storytelling. You're just like, I've always wondered. I've always wondered. That's what I feel like is always going on in the show. I was like, I always wondered what like, if there was any other Wookiees kind of, like fighting. And I always wondered if like what sort of gangs might have existed on or like what happened to
Tatooine.
Jabba the Hutt's kind of crime syndicate, etc., etc. And the film just can't go there. It's too small, and now these shows can, and it turns out to be more entertaining because size, because the
better
size doesn't
characters, better
matter
writing.
no matter what Sheila tells me, size does not matter.
It's just better writing, though, and better
It's
characters.
better
like,
writing, man.
like
No, you know what? Jokes aside, like I mean, I'm making
yeah,
fun, but it's better writing. I
man,
mean,
yeah.
it
Like
simply is.
look at the Disney sequel trilogy. Their characters compared to Mandalorian. Like you got Finn, Ray, Poe Dameron, and who else? Like they're pretty much the three. They're the three main ones. They're kind of like the new Harrison Ford, the new Luke, Han, and fucking Leia. They're like the kind of they're the main three that replaced those main three from the first trilogy. Now you look at Mandalorian, and you got like Mando, you got Fennec Shand, you got Grogu, you got fucking are we allowed to say Cara Dune? Is that allowed?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if anything, like it's a bigger. Like, I mean, whatever way you feel about her, she was a very fat actress.
Very flat actress.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it sounded like you said fat actress. No,
no.
I got your back.
No,
I got your back. I got your back. But no, I thought like she's very wooden.
Cad Bane, by the way.
What? That's her name.
No, the blue faced huntery dude.
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane.
Yeah, Bane. Where would come up with these fucking names?
Cad Bane.
But like what do you think of her being dropped out of the shows?
You know, I can't even remember.
What is her name? Gina Carano.
Gina Carano, yeah. I can't even remember. It did seem like one of these things where, you know, it was cancel culture and all that. But you know, when somebody just simply can't stop talking.
Yeah. What did she say? I can't remember. She said something fairly important, though, didn't she?
She did. And I'm trying to remember. I think, like, first off, it was, you know what it was? When people started putting their pronouns into, this is what the first thing was. When people started putting their pronouns, he, him, she, her, they, them.
Yeah.
She started putting in, she put in beep, boop, beep, boop.
Oh, yeah.
To kind of make fun of it, which is insensitive, I would say. But at the same time, I don't think you should take you know,
this should just take it as a joke.
Yeah, exactly. And or you know, like confront somebody.
Yeah,
it
depends if she meant it as you need to know intent before you can really criticize or admonish, isn't it? Like she might mean beep boop as a joke, or she might actually mean it with disrespect. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like you need to know someone's intent. That's the worst thing about print. Like that's why, like anytime if I say something sarcastic or anything online or in a text message, I always try to add an emoji. Because an emoji it conveys some sort of context. You know what I mean? Like, because if you say something, you can mean it in a sarcastic way. If you do the shrug emoji, 9 times out of 10 people think you mean it in a sarcastic way. You know what I mean? Like, you know, instead of like if she means beep boop, whatever, she says that with a smiley face emoji beside it.
She started going on with like Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, which he probably didn't. But at the same time, you're in a high, and she started making fun of the mask mandates because, you know, actors are epidemiologists, and then just it was just, but at one point you kind of go like, she's going to be a problem.
Yeah, is she not entitled to all those opinions though?
She's 100% entitled to all those opinions. I do, and I think she's probably a pretty decent person behind it all. But at the same time, there was just like shut the fuck up. It's why people. Yeah,
if you're working for Disney, toe the company line pretty much, isn't it? Though
exactly. It's like why somebody like Johnny Depp could come back. A lot of shit gets said about him. Absolutely, none of it gets substantiated. But he doesn't have the history of these late night drunken tweet storms that we seem to get now. Like, you know? It's because he just shuts the fuck up. Yeah. It's that he does the films and stuff like that. And he
knows how to be a movie star.
Yeah, he knows how to shut the fuck up. And if you have somebody, and this isn't like a left or a right thing, but if you have somebody that simply doesn't know when to shut the fuck up, then and you're like, well, I'm not putting money into it because I know it's going to come back and bite me in the ass. Yeah,
and I'm not going to have you tarnish something as valuable. I'm not going to have you, exactly. The Mandalorian franchise.
Exactly. Like,
because it becomes so valuable.
Amber Heard, Ezra Miller, they're toxic, man.
Yeah. Well, Ezra Miller really needs to stop drinking because he just fights people every time he's drunk. That dude was fighting half of Hawaii over there. Like, someone should just direct him towards Max Holloway and put him out of his misery. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand these people though. Like, they don't understand how lucky they are. Like they see it as a burden. It's a gift. Like, what did they expect? They wanted to be famous.
Oh, sorry, I just got the final straw was her equating right wingers getting cancelled on Twitter to Jewish people being killed during the Holocaust.
Yeah,
That's
I knew it was
that
something really abhorrent.
that'll do it. That'll
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's an opinion she's not entitled to.
That's an opinion she's not entitled to. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
and then you're like, and don't like this is like obviously a cumulative thing. Like that could do it all by itself, and then you're
yeah.
kind of going like, how
It's
she's
kind
done
of like
this in the space of like 5 weeks, 6 weeks. You're like, dude,
it's kind of like the dude in a football game that does like 4 or 5 small tackles. The referee lets him away with it, and then all of a sudden he does one big tackle, straight red card.
yeah.
And that's kind of
Actually,
like
you know what? You're exactly right. That's
it's not
exactly
kind of
it.
what it was like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like with her, just this like they're like, oh, we're not going to book her yet. We're not going to book her yet. Gina, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. And she said this straight red, you're out here.
And you know what? Like, unfortunately, she didn't actually have the acting chops.
Yeah.
Like she didn't have the
utterly replaceable, like
utterly replaceable, utterly replaceable.
Like when you have someone like Ming-Na Wen as Fennec Shand, like she's so much more charismatic.
Oh my god! Actor. Yeah. And how cool was it to get onto a different somebody? How cool was it when she kind of like disappears from the action for a while, and you're like, okay, she's gone missing. I wonder if that's like.
Yeah,
you know, is that bad writing, or is there something going on behind the scenes?
I knew you never.
And then she shows up and wipes out the fucking because there was no one there to stop her. Because you know, like obviously,
she's such a good actor though. She never disappoints. Like never disappoints. She was one of the best things about Agents of Shield as well for its entire run. She's so fucking good. As Agent May, man, I'd watch her all day. Like that's the thing. Like when you have so many fucking like very few shows do this where they have so many iconic characters straight away. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what is Bill Burr's character's name? Something Mayfield or something. I keep thinking Baker Mayfield, and I know that's a quarterback.
They rehabilitated him really well.
Man, his redemption arc was brilliant. It's like there's a meme going around in 15 minutes to give him a better former Stormtrooper arc than they did with Finn in 3 movies. Like, you know what I mean? Like the scene with him where he shoots that guy that plays an evil dude and everything. I always just remember him as I think his name is Portman or Porter.
Miggs Mayfield.
Like, man, his fucking redemption arc is fucking brilliant. Like,
remember the best part? Do you remember when you needed a Fett to use the face scanner, so he had to take off his mask? And this is where it goes back to what a great actor Pedro Pascal is. When he takes off the mask, he looks genuinely like on a human level. He looks genuinely distraught. He looks like he's having a panic attack. Like he looks like he's going through something really, really horrific.
Yeah.
And but then of course whatever plays out, and he ends up like there's a shootout and stuff like that. And at the end, it's just him and Miggs standing, and Miggs hands him his helmet and he goes, I didn't look at your face. Yeah. And you know he's telling the truth because Bill Burr can also act.
Bill Burr's an amazing actor though, isn't he?
So Bill Burr actually hands it and you believe him. He goes, I never looked at your face. And then he could come up and back because everyone who's seen him is dead, which is probably the code. And Bill Burr never saw it. Ergo, suddenly, now they need to get the fuck out of there. Yeah. It's not raindrops after that, but it was a great scene. Yeah, and then when he gets back, just when he get back, he was like, oh, looks like this guy escaped. Or whatever.
He died. He died in the reactor.
Died. That's what it was.
That's what Cara Dune said. He was like, "Oh, it's a pity that Miggs Mayfield died in the reactor explosion." And he's like, "What? What? I'm free to go." And he just runs off. What were we talking about there a second ago about Miggs Mayfield? Something I was going to jump on. Yeah, the scene with the fucking the convoy gets attacked. When they're bringing the Rhydonium into facility, man, that chase scene is fucking amazing. When the pirates are all attacking him and shit, man, like that is unbelievable. Like that's one thing I loved about it though, where he's actually like ripping the fuck out of Mando. Is like, so is it that you can't take off your helmet or you can't show people your face because you know there's a difference. What do you think? Do you think because Mando in Boba Fett Mando got banished? For admitting to taking his helmet off
for Grogu,
yeah, Grogu, and he took it off in front of that dude saw his face anyway. The Emperor dude. No, does that count? No,
I'm not sure if it's
because they're saying this, so. I think like obviously he's going to end up in Mandalore because
I don't think you're ever to be identified, and no, a dead person can't identify.
You never show your face to a living creature, living being.
Yeah.
So he did show his face to a living being, though.
Yeah,
apart from
yeah. So
Grogu.
yeah, he did. I guess he did. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that was the thing. Like that's why he was freaking out. But what do you think? He has to go cleanse himself or something in the waters of Mandalore or some shit?
Some shit like that. But
Yeah,
was there even another like that's a cult inside of the Mandor.
yeah,
It's not everyone who agrees to this never showing your face thing.
yeah. There's
You know,
zealots.
so I wonder, yeah, I wonder if he's going to kind of like subscribe to a different philosophy, so that you can have more Pedro Pascal actually in the third season. I don't know.
I think
True
it's
is, I
okay
don't
the way
know.
it is. I think it'd be better.
I
I
love
think,
it the way it is, and like that was it. Even I was watching Halo,
yeah.
and huge fan of the Halo lore. Probably
Well,
actually
what's the
more.
TV show like? What's
Yeah, yeah. No, I really like it. It could be better, but it needs more money and it needs time.
yeah,
It was excellent. You see the Master Chief's face pretty
yeah.
early on, and
Boo.
the actor who, yeah, exactly, the actor who plays him, he's in American Gods, and he was in Orange Is the New Black. But anyway, he said that he told the producers not to do it.
Yeah,
Don't do it. You don't see my face. That's the whole game.
yeah. A Mandalorian's getting away with it right now.
Yeah,
Like,
you know what I mean. I'm just, yeah, but like maybe that's okay. The whole thing was in all the games you never saw him. He was always a soldier. He was never anything else. He was designed to be. He was built to be. He was like genetically modified to be.
yeah, no, I mean, like right now, they had the example of Mandalorian getting away with a helmeted character throughout 95% of the show. That they should have kept the helmet on Master Chief
I think,
because
yeah, they should have. No, they should have. I was actually really early on and quite unnecessary when
yeah,
you first. And don't get me wrong, he has a lot of interactions and he gets to like be pissed off and he gets, like obviously, which it's easier to act if you can see the person's face. But like as Pedro Pascal could teach, it's not impossible.
yeah. Body language is just every bit as important as facial
Oh,
expressions.
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like a shrug of the shoulders, like a tilt of the head, like you know what I mean? Like that's what he does so brilliantly in it that he's able to convey so much emotion without ever actually showing his face that much. Like it's fucking brilliantly done. Like it's just shows you how good he is as an actor. That he's got all these different fucking levels to his game. Like he can use all these different weapons in different situations, and that's why he's so good at doing comedy or he's doing drama or doing like fucking action. Like you know what I mean? It's just he's got every level to his game. Like but like and the thing is, one thing I'm really excited about Mandalorian and Boba Fett and the way Boba Fett expanded on Mandalorian is that you have all these different pieces going on in the background now. You have like Cara Dune who's going to come back, or sorry, not Cara Dune. Oh, I said her name earlier. She's played by your one from Battlestar Galactica, Bo-Katan. You're going to have
Yeah.
her come back looking for the dark saber. So at some stage, her and Mando are going to have to battle it out. What do you think of the dark saber?
It wouldn't have to be a battle to the death, though. As it was proved, by the way, that
he has to yield.
He has to yield. So I would be like, bing, 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 yield. If it means that much to you.
Yeah, I think though after a while, I think the significance of the weapon itself landed on
like
Mando.
when he chops that guy in half on the table.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Where Mando puts the guy
can you
a black lightsaber.
Can you repeat that? Because
I was just saying when the Mandalorian got that guy when he's kind of bounty hunting and you see him throw him up in the table and he just chops him right through, right in the middle, right through. It's just like
that's when they reintroduced him in Boba Fett, isn't it?
And also, if you notice that the black saber looks like a sword, like it looks like it's got the dimensions of a sword as being like a tube of light.
Yeah, because it was made 1,000 years ago, so it's a very early design, I assume. And
exactly,
made by a Mandalorian too, so maybe it's based more on Mandalorian weaponry.
Oh, it's just such
like the lore behind that weaponry. Like, and I love the what's the word I'm looking for? The kind of like, do you know when you hold something in like admiration or something, but with the Beskar steel, reverence. I love
reverence is a good word. Yeah.
I love the reverence to show with the Beskar steel, and like it's like you have to keep extra for the younglings. It's like this is the way and all this. I love the whole Mandalorian culture and the backstory about the tears of the Night of 1,000 Tears, and like when they show little glimpses of it. Like I hope to do a full fucking episode or even a full show called The Night of 1,000 Tears and the shows the fall of Mandalore. Man, that'd be fucking incredible. Like this, the thing
That'd
about
be a movie. Now that you could
Mm.
make a movie of.
Yeah, I'd rather
You know
see
what I
the
mean?
TV
Because
show, man.
you've all the. Oh yeah, of course, of course.
Give me 6 episodes, an hour long each. Siege of Mandalore, like fucking hell, man. Call it the Night of a Thousand Tears, like, you know, the name's already there for you, like, man. Scums, it'd be so fucking good. That's what I love about this show. Is like it touches on all these little bits of pre-existing lore, while it's at the same time creating its own lore and stuff like that, and it expands so nicely that it's got so many directions it can go in. Like next season, like, you know, obviously he's going to go up against Bo-Katan because she's going to come looking for the dark saber. He's going to go up against Moff Gideon because he's still around, and he's going to come looking for Grogu. And like, I just love that fact that the way Boba Fett expanded on the Mandalorian. Now that we got so much ground covered already in Mandalorian's backstory, or sorry, Mandalorian story going forward, that we don't have 2 episodes of season 3 of Mandalorian. Him going trying to find Grogu, him getting the spear
Yes,
melted down. Those 2 episodes that happened in Boba Fett did so much for the expansion of Mandalorian going forward. That's what I love about the two shows, just meld together beautifully. I think like it's very rarely that you get to see it. Like I think they done it, or sorry, they did it better than what Marvel have done so far in kind of blending their shows together. That I think these two shows almost feel like one
I
show.
think Marvel have shown that it can be done.
Yeah, of course. And John
You know what I
Favreau
mean?
was
Like,
there at the outset, like, you know.
oh no, yeah, 100% agreed. And long, I expect more. I expect that there'll be some reciprocation in the third season of The Mandalorian,
Oh,
where
100%.
that yeah, they'll push the Boba Fett narrative, maybe, you know, something that they just want to get by, or set up the new body or the new kind of tribulation that they have to deal with.
Moff Gideon, it's going to end up with Moff Gideon, has to, like.
It has to be, yeah. What
Yeah,
a great
and
character.
yeah, and they're going to try and take back Mandalore. I would be shocked if the last season is not about them taking back Mandalore and about who's going to be the next ruler of Mandalore. Like, if they don't go that way, I think it'd be a shame, because I think it's building so nicely that you do have these small insulated stories, but you do have all these elements that are there and they're ripe for expansion. And they have all the lore already and all this fucking ridiculous mythology that they can build on, that they are building on. I just think that you can have this whole story build up to someone ending up in the throne of Mandalore, and it doesn't even have to. It doesn't like have to affect the Disney sequels. It doesn't have to affect anything, because you have this 30-year period between the Empire, sorry, the Return of the Jedi and the Force Awakens, and like a lot can happen in 30 years. You know what I mean? 30 years worth of
A lot.
storytelling. You know what I
It's the
mean?
rise and fall of an empire. It's whatever
Yeah.
you need it to be.
Like, so I just think, like, out of all the properties that Disney have out there at the minute in terms of Star Wars, I think this is the biggest in terms expansion, biggest most potential for expansion, with the Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, whatever shows. And it's a pity Obi-Wan, he was kind of hamstrung by the age of his character.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
that's it. And that's not his fault. It is
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to watching that because I haven't seen any of that yet. But like, so no, before we get the fuck out here, what do you expect us to see from Mandalorian season 3? And do you think, like, you know, you touched on something, do you think we're going to see a bit more Boba Fett? And what way do you think it's going to go on? How many more seasons do you think we're going to get out of these shows?
I think we're going. Ooh, wow, that's a good question. I'd say they're probably going to level out with about 4.
Hmm. I think
Yeah,
5.
you think 5? Yeah, it would be. I think anything over that might be a bad
3 Boba
idea.
Fett, maybe, because I think they might rotate them now.
Yeah, but I think there's definitely a lot more to come. I wouldn't say if we're at the halfway mark. Let's just pretend that they're all one thing with 2 in one season. I wouldn't say we're at the halfway mark just yet. I think there's a lot to go over. And don't forget, like, Grogu is obviously a character now that they could be going for. Man, long after me and you have shuffled off this world, they'll still be talking about Grogu.
Yeah.
Because they've introduced a very, very long-term character. And who's to say with the spin-offs, and the spin-offs having spin-offs, and even after one of these shows is over, why not have Boba Fett show up in one of the Siren beside Rosario in one of these kind of episodes? It's just it's kind of unlimited now because people are digging it and they're doing it right. They're doing it right. So why not?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, you've got so many different things you can do, and I'm sure we're going to see more standalone Disney shows, and because they're standalone Star Wars shows, and I think they're slowly starting to create this expanded universe in a way that they tried to do originally, and it kind of failed with the Star Wars stories. with Solo not doing as well. And I know Rogue One was awesome, but like, I think what they're doing now is they tried too much at one go before. Like, oh, let's have a trilogy of movies. Let's make more animated shows. Let's have two interquels, and like they kind of fell into the DC trappings. And what they're doing now is they're like, let's take a breath. Let's take our time with Star Wars. Let's build outwards instead of going forwards. You know what I mean? So like, and I think because you've got so much room for building outwards, what did Obi-Wan do between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope? What was going on in his life? You got 19 or 20 years there you can play with, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like that's the thing, you got these little pockets of time that we can build outward where it doesn't affect the pre-existing legacies or continuities and all this. And I think that's what Disney are doing right now. They're building outward instead of upward and forward. And I think that's very, very clever storytelling.
Big up, stupid.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is dig out. You know what I mean? I think they're digging outward. I think that's clever because you got way more room to play with, even though the timelines aren't massive. You can like a year, a lot can happen. But like I think right now, Mandalorian and Boba Fett, we'll probably get a couple more seasons of both of them at least. And I'm just really excited to see what happens because, as I said, there's so much room for expansion there, and they touched on so many different things that literally the sky's the limit because we could go from it being a Western set in space to being a fucking massive epic where you're talking about like a political power struggle to try to take back the throne of Mandalore. Like you could have that kind of progression over the next 4 or 5 years, like over the course of the two shows. Like you're talking about probably one of the best Star Wars stories of all time, if not the best. That's my opinion. I'm out. I'm out. That's what I'm saying.
I'm out. That's it. That's it.
All right.
That's how we feel, folks.
Yeah. All right, you motherfuckers. I'm your host, Vincent Green.
I'm your host, John Tui.
And this is Dark Side of the Moon. And that was The Mandalorian. And that was Boba Fett. And remember, motherfuckers, this is the way. See you next time. Peace.
Peach.
I'm a god, you're a madman. This is the word of Darkseid.